Hey guys, what's going on? Paul here. Welcome back to another Cardano video. Today we're looking at the gaming side of Cardano and a project that is trying to do something that we haven't seen yet on Cardano. So Rogue Galaxies is the project. I have three of the team members on here. I'll let the guys all introduce themselves and then we'll get into what the project is and what they're trying to do. So I don't know who wants to go first, just who you are, what's going on here.
Hi, I would like to start first. Yeah. Hey, my name is Eve. I'm the game director of Rogue Galaxies. So my part is like managing and directing everything and bringing the vision to life and see that we have the proper resources to do so. Nice.
Great.
Yeah, should I go on? Then I'll just pick up.
Yeah, pass it to
you. Yeah. Hey, I'm Robin. I was working with Eve for a few years now, and I'm more on the development side of things. So he's telling us what to do, and I'll check that everything gets done. Yeah, so practically, most of the time I'm programming. That's basically what I do.
All right, I'm Ignacio. I'm the storyteller and creative behind the project. I've worked with Eve and Robin on a game previously. I don't know if you guys know Ada Ninjas. We did Shards of Nineveh in the past, and they are the developers of that game as well. So they've got experience in blockchain tech and blockchain gaming already. So it's an interesting team.
Great, and this game is coming under the umbrella of NMKR, isn't it? It's one of the arms of NMKR, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly. I believe NMKR Games was established as part of the company just a month or two ago, but we've been developing for several months. But yes, this is an NMKR game, and it came from the mind of Patrick Tobler, the initial seed.
Perfect. Yeah, I've had Patrick on the channel before, and I'm sure I'm going to have him on many times over the next few years as well. But jumping on to the game then, so what is the game, or what's it all about?
Eve, would you like to?
Yeah, sure. So basically, Rogue Galaxy is a sci-fi MMO roguelike. So it's like, just to break up these terms, like the MMO part is a multiplayer game we develop on Cardano, and the roguelike part is where you have these run-based approaches within the space or on planetary surfaces where you actually play. So it's a third-person game, and there are a lot of facets to it. Like it's like, on the one side, it's a space game where you have sci-fi elements, where you have your spaceship, and you can imagine space exploration, space combat, and other things. And on the other side, you have like third-person module where you go on planet surfaces, mine resources, and have combat with alien creatures and other things. So it's a very interesting combination. And then also there's a big social component to it, where you have like the capital cities, where you can form groups, guilds, factions, all these kind of things, and have interactions with each other. And I mentioned these as separate parts, and that's for a reason, because our game is like a very ambitious project. In order to pull that off, we split it up in several modules. So from what I told, it's like a space module. Then there's the planet expedition module, and there's the social module. And these are developed separately, starting off with the space module. And then later on, as they progress down the line, we form them together to create this one big gaming experience.
Okay, great. I suppose we're used to seeing different projects talking about metaverses, and they're building metaverses, which is something you can go in and walk around, but that's not the route you're really going. You're going more what a traditional game would be. What if I turn on an Xbox, PlayStation, or PC, that type of game is what you're going after, is it?
Yeah,
exactly. Can I just I think I can good follow up on this, because it's a really important point you mentioned here, and maybe it's also helpful to give you a bit better background from especially Robin and myself. We both come from the normal Web 2 background, so we developed games for a couple of years. I myself for over 7 years, and together with Robin, I founded a company, Smokestep. It was like 3.5 years ago. We already publish games on multiple platforms, including PC and console. So our background is really game development focused. And it's also the thing we make with this game. Rogue Galaxies should be a very good and fun game experience on itself. the blockchain is technology we use to enhance this experience and also to create new things which were not possible with Web2 technology. Like ownership is a big part, and how we can give back to the community the access to the assets and what they can do with them. That's really interesting for us, and that's why we look forward to combine gaming with NFTs and other things from the blockchain.
Yeah. And if I may add,
Yeah.
also the direction or the way we're trying to travel this journey is what we hope will help mass adoption for the blockchain and for future projects as well. If we are all always talking about blockchain and metaverse and the things that are very niche when it comes to the world, Ethan Robin had the right idea of saying, no, let's think about this game properly, but get the technology to really implement the technology so that people can get it into their daily lives without needing to say NFT, decentralized, blockchain, understand what it all means. So I think this is another step of why we're thinking about it in a classic game way with new technology.
Yeah, I'm happy to hear that. I think that's my view on the situation as well, is that you want people to come in because they want to play the game, not because it's on the blockchain. So I suppose I'm into crypto, I should play this game as well. You want to open up to the wider audience of non-crypto, because look, grand scheme of things, we're still a very small niche overall. You want to tap into the gaming sector, but I don't think we've had a game on blockchain yet that is good enough to attract people from outside. So people who are used to playing Xbox, PlayStation, PC, the high-end graphics there, some of the stuff that the graphics that are there now are just unbelievable. So if we can get games up to that standard, bring them in, then they start to learn about blockchain, and then that's where they go from there. But what are you building the game on? Is it Unreal Engine or is it something else, sir?
Yeah, we're targeting Unreal Engine right now.
Okay.
A big part of the Unreal Engine is also that they're like open for blockchain technology, also with Epic Games behind them. Like this is one of the biggest parts why we choose the Unreal Engine over any other right now.
It's also, to add to Robin's input, it's like Epic Game Store. That's an important thing if you talk about mass adoption. Where do you sell your game later on, or will give you access to players? And since Epic is so open to blockchain technology, they already have launched the first NFT game on their platform. This is something where we can see our game in the future as well to reach the wider audience besides the Web3 space.
Great. And in terms of the team, how big is the team? When I look at what games cost in the traditional world, which you're going towards as well, you're into the multiples of millions and massive teams building them. What's your own team like? I know you're only early days yet, but what's it like at this point?
Yeah, we're a smaller team at this point, especially the core team you can actually see here. We also work with freelancers together. We got someone for the 3D part, then also someone for the 2D part, and another team that is helping us with other things on that side. And there's NMKR behind us as well, which is very, very helpful because they do all the technology kind of things. It's like they're creating tools for us and APIs for us, which we then can use. So this is really helpful for us, so we can really focus on the game development part. But as we progress, the team will definitely grow in size because it has to.
It's part of the roadmap and everything that we're slowly releasing to the community. We'll telling everyone the plan, but it's step by step. Like you said, we are hoping to get to that level of the multi-million, the huge number of players. But like everything, unlike everything, we're trying to take it step by step and not jumping in like a lot of projects do nowadays and burn out quick because of not planning properly ahead, you know?
Yeah, we see projects trying to build really fast, and you don't find a couple of million disappearing in costs very quickly. So it's good to see I suppose the steady approach to it and have an end maker there as well, especially for any interactions with the Cardano blockchain. They definitely have a lot of the stuff already there. And just on where does blockchain come into it for you? So you mentioned NFTs. We mentioned it'll be sort of a traditional game, but with a blockchain element. So where exactly does it come into it?
So yeah, besides the things I mentioned previously, like the imagine assets of the game will be NFTs where you then can level up them. It's also something for the economy, which is really interesting because people can participate in our game in different ways, and depending on how they want to participate, we give them full freedom. Some maybe want only enjoy gameplay, some maybe enjoy the economy part, and all of these things are things we can make possible with blockchain. On one side, it's very interesting to talk about it, but also it's very interesting if you think about mass adoption, how we want to hide the blockchain elements. It's something that should be integrated on a very natural level, but we don't want to push it into people's face. So the ultimate goal would be people don't even know that it's blockchain in the background, and they have no interactions with cryptocurrency and all these things. It should made as easy as possible for them to integrate or to interact with the technology.
Yeah, I would add an asterisk unless you want to. Because, for example, we've already had a lot of things in the community that, for example, before the game even comes out, we've already created a gamification of our story, of what the people experience on the Discord and on the Twitter, and finding puzzle pieces. And we've also created a mintathon where people create what the evolution of mankind might look like, and they're able to mint with NMKR for free until tomorrow, 30th.
Yeah, by the time this comes out, that'll be
yeah, never mind. Okay, well, time travel is possible in sci-fi, so anyway. But the idea is that we are integrated for the people that do understand and enjoy and believe in the tech and going deep into it. People can still play with the creation of NFTs and with playing of NFTs, and the whole story side and community voting as well, for example, is going to be a huge part through blockchain and NFTs and their own voting tokens through the blockchain. And we're even thinking, because we have a good partnership and thought and community relations with the people over at Disco Solaris, and the things that they've been doing with their story index, and those ideas are super interesting because stories could be implemented into the NFTs, whether you know it or not as a player, and these things can be passed along from player to player, and maybe missions can be also implemented into NFTs that can be shared and communally just passed along and added upon. So it really depends on the person whether they really want to go deep into the NFT or not, and it's either it's invisible to the players or they really get into it. We want to keep it open for everyone to be able to enjoy it.
Great. Yeah, so someone who is just into gaming, likes what they see in the game, they can come in and play the game without having to own an NFT character or anything like that, can they?
And as we're planning, I don't think we can promise this yet, but without even necessarily owning or managing your own wallet as well. But this is something that's far in the future, but we're trying to figure out the best ways and the most interesting, fun, and fair ways to make sure that this is all leveled out for everyone.
Yes, just as an addition. Sorry, Paul.
No, go ahead.
As an addition, we try to make it so that people can play it like the full game without owning NFTs in the first place. So it just like lowers the burden of going into the game. You see, okay, I don't need to actually do stuff with the blockchain to participate. And then we want to add layers on top, like, for example, skins in free-to-play games. You don't have to pay to have like progress, but it's like more fun to spend money or get NFTs.
Yeah, and I suppose if you can bring that entity, even a centralized entity, I talked about this with Patrick when he was on, that not all centralization is bad. There is an onboarding process when they come into crypto that people trust that more. Obviously, once you go down the rabbit hole, you want to pull away from centralization. But if you can offer something like that people can actually buy the NFT, they don't even have to realize they're buying an NFT. It could be just an upgrade in the game, but in the back end, it is actually the NFT that at some point they can pull that off to their own wallet once they're familiar with how it all works. I think that's a good onboarding process as well.
Exactly. Sorry if you wanted to say something. Well,
yes,
I was just going to add.
You can go on.
Sorry, no, but I was going to add because that's super interesting. Because if I've learned one thing about games is that they also can teach you a lot. And if through the gamification you can take a person step by step through what the creation of NFT is, or how those things work, and how you can implement them and share them around, and actually have as if the game itself was the creation of an NFT, and we have an introductory, what do you call them? Now I forget, when you play and you have they teach you how to play the game.
A tutorial?
Wow, thank you. How did that? And I played a million freaking games in my life. I'm sorry for that. But yeah, I mean, the game itself should be able to teach you how it works, because we're implementing a blockchain and how blockchain works. That's super interesting.
Yeah, I think you both really nailed it. It's really like slowly introducing them into the blockchain thing on a very natural basis. And the ideal world would be like starting as free to play and slowly building up your own NFT and then get into the ecosystem if you really want to.
Yeah, it's I really think gaming can be a big onboarding for crypto, but we just haven't had games of the quality yet that can. And I haven't seen a huge amount from your project yet. So, but I hope you get to that point that you can be one of the doors that starts to open for people to really onboard them. And you mentioned you're doing it in module. I think you call it modules, the space part first. But where are you now in terms of the game or timeline?
So game development is a long process, and in early stages, it's exciting but also boring on one side, because the exciting part is you have this crazy ideas and the scope is like expanding, and then the boring part comes when you have to cut it to like a level where you can actually finish this project. And then also it's like on a basis where you figure out basic design things, how it can be pulled off, or how could this world actually work. And right now, as Ignacio already mentioned, we're a couple of months in development, and we have mostly done conceptual stuff, design work, and all of that, and have laid out a foundation where we can build on as our drop from the first NFTs will go live on December 9th. And then further on down the line that we can deliver our first module as soon as possible. Because as I mentioned, we split it up in modules, and this is also helpful to give people early access to our game, so we can get feedback from them and do really this community-driven approach.
Okay, and on the game then, will ye be selling the game, or I think you mentioned something about free to play, but will the full game be selling like traditional games are sold, or does it start out as a free to play?
I cannot 100% answer this right now. The best goal would be free to play, because this way you have the lowest entry point for people, so they can just try it out, so they don't need to purchase anything. For our development right now, it will be that our spaceship NFTs will grant you access to the early modules, so you are like an early player of our game, an early game tester, and this way we can also control the amount of players, because early on you don't want it to be exploded, because you want to have early systems tested, and that's better if you have a smaller group of players than immediately open it up for everyone.
Yeah, and I suppose that brings you trusted people as well, people that want to be involved in the game rather than critics coming in on day one, because there's going to be bugs no matter how much internal testing you do. When you put it out there, someone's going to run into a wall and get stuck in a loop, or something will happen. So it's good to have that core. And I presume on the funding side as well, having funding from the NFTs will help with development too. I don't know, have you been funded to date, or where it's coming from for the project? And again, some projects can't talk about these things, so feel free to say you can't or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, NFTs are definitely a way of funding this project, but not the only one. The interesting part about NFTs, if you compare it to Web2 methods like funding, I would say Kickstarter is something that comes closest to it. But with NFTs, you can make it way more interactive, give people early something back, and also integrate them well more into your process than you can with, let's say, a Kickstarter, where you then get your rewards when the game will launch. So we can make it quite early on, and that's also the things we have in plan. But we also look at traditional game funding. And as I mentioned, Robin and myself come from a normal game development background, and we also received for our projects funding early on. And this is something we definitely do also for Rogue Galaxies. So it's not NFTs are the only funding source.
Okay, I like that there's multiple avenues, and I agree on the NFTs. Like Kickstarter, there's more advantages to it as well, and that if someone buys an NFT early on, and something happens that they need to move on, or they can sell on the NFT to someone else on the secondary market or something like that. So it gives more options.
Yeah, and another detail that I think is super fun because we've already started the gamification of the whole experience is because you can already have an NFT. We've created a system where you can earn XP without there being an actual game, and that XP allows you to, when you have your battle pass, because when you get a ship, you'll be dropped a battle pass, an epic battle pass, not patent pending or working title. And when you get this battle pass, every 2 weeks we'll drop you NFTs that will be potentially skins or potentially tools or accessories that you might be able to use in the game or not, or resources. And these things you can start earning now by playing and owning one of these NFTs before the game even comes out. So this is another thing that allows us to already, like, you invest, but you're not waiting for the game to come out. You're already playing as soon as you're part of it. In fact, people are playing now and the ships aren't even out, you know?
Okay, so you're telling me I need to dive deeper into the Discord to get involved.
So deep. Yeah, please. Yeah, if you're ever on the Discord, shout us out. If there's anything you need explained, just let us know.
All right, cheers. Yeah, and for anyone else, I will put the links to all of that below. I think Twitter and Discord seem to be the best two places so far, are they, for updates?
So far, but we have something coming up soon. By the time this comes out, I can say it right now anyways, right?
Yeah, we're
So
definitely
probably,
a week out before this comes out.
Okay,
It'll
perfect.
be
So the
towards the end of
website-
next week.
The website, okay, then people can say if I'm a liar or not in a week, depending. So the website should come out today, hopefully. Everything we're working on the last final
nice.
details to release the website, but that should be the center of all information that you need. We will share it with you as soon as we have it, so that when this episode comes out, you'll also have it.
Okay, and if he's not lying, I will be doing an overlay here when I'm editing the video after of the nice fresh website.
I just want to add something to the thing Ignacio just said with the website. Like that will be our main hub, and also one important, I would say, pillar for us in the development is transparency. We are docs from the day one. I mean, you see who's developing this thing, who's behind it, and it's also very important in every aspect of the game that we communicate these things with everyone. Also, with our NFTs, we are very transparent what you get from it, and we will display everything on the website, so it's easy for you to understand this thing and for you to make a decision if this is something for you, if this is something you are interested in, and then you can purchase NFT or do not if you want to.
Yeah. And the best thing as well, now that we did the comparison between Kickstarter and what the system or community how it works now, is that in Kickstarter, sure, you could put money in and wait, and then maybe nothing comes along and you get no answers and stuff. But we are, the three of us and the people from the team from MenMaker as well, if you go on Discord and you ask, we're always answering everything. So the accessibility of, if you have a question, just ask us and we'll tell you everything we can, is something different that before never existed. And now you're in direct contact every day with us. And that's what's amazing about the community as well. I got to say, on the Discord, it's been a lot of fun talking to the people.
Yeah, building up a strong community early on is, I think, vital to projects as well, because even if you build something brilliant down the line, if you don't have a community supporting you and helping spread the word about it, then even the best projects can really struggle to gain traction. But if you can get that trust with the community early on, I think that's a very good thing. And as you said, being fully doxed and being interactive with the community, essentially being a member of the community yourself, that goes a long way from what I've seen over the last few years with different projects as well. One thing I didn't ask was PC or mobile or both, or where will the game work?
Probably because we have the most experience on like PC and consoles, it will first be PC only, and then we will have to adjust what makes the most sense. Now I would say it makes more sense to move to maybe consoles instead of mobile, but we will have to figure it out.
Yeah, also interesting, maybe consoles in the future as a theme, where you bring like blockchain to consoles. I haven't seen any game done that yet, but could be a thing in the future. We will see.
Always good to be the best, first, and the best. Why not?
Yeah, that would be cool to see, to move towards the console down the line as well. But I suppose the market, there's a huge market there for PC. I know we're all glued. Well, I am, and most people I see are glued to our phones all the time. But people who really play games, you play a game for a little bit on your phone, but if you want to play a proper game, you go to a PC or you go to a console if you're really getting involved in gaming properly. So is there anything else?
I believe it's
Sorry,
Master Race, was it?
Yeah, PC Master.
PC Master Race. Yeah.
Sorry, nothing against consoles, but I'm a PC guy myself.
What I think personally interesting is maybe not like exclude other devices, because you could actually make certain things like mobile things, not maybe the full game, because we also strive for high quality, high fidelity games. So it's maybe not the best for mobile phones, since they are not have the power to manage all of this. But you could maybe do different gameplay elements that could be done on your phone. Let's say check missions, send out a fleet, do some small missions
And
on
we're
your
already
phone
doing
on the
it.
go. Yeah.
And we're already doing it. That's the thing. People can already play on their phone now within our Discord and when the website comes out and all these things. So it's already, if you think about it, a pseudo mobile game. But Eve is completely right that it depends on. I mean, if NFTs can be anywhere accessible, then perhaps you don't need to really get onto your computer to be able to play part of the story of the game. Maybe the actual creation of the NFTs and sharing it with the community is part of how you play the game.
Yeah, I like that dynamic. And if you go fully mobile, obviously you can't have the quality that you're going to have on PC. But if you can have that, you can check into your game if you've started some mission or started doing something. If you get involved in the economy, you want to go in and check a few things, you can do that on your phone. Then that would be a nice feature to have. But before we close out, is there anything that we haven't mentioned here? Or so we mentioned kind of where you are, and the NFT drop, the first one is coming up the 9th of December, did you say?
Yeah, if you guys will allow, I'll talk a bit about it, because the 9th of December, just so everyone knows, the first batch, or let's call it policy ID or collection, will be 3,000 of our first ships ever. And then every one of these will be airdropped a battle pass, but that's another detail. And these ships were going to drop by 1,000 each. On the 9th of December, 1,000, in January, 1,000, and in February, 1,000. We wanted to do a more spread out collection. And we're doing a whitelist, OGs, early supporters, and then a verified community minting structure on the 9th. And each will be around 10 to 12 hours, except for the last one will be open. And we're separating the 1,000 into 100 for whitelist, 200 for OGs, 300 for early supporters. And not everyone's going to be able to get in this first batch, but that's why we have a January and a February, to make sure that this is a balanced and fair mint for everyone, right? And the other two mints are going to be probably in the same structure, but this is a great thing about community. We want to listen to the community about how they felt about the first mint and move on and evolve if necessary. And I want to mention a bit about the battle passes as well. I think I already mentioned, but basically, if you have a ship of any of these 3,000, you get a battle pass directly. We're going to sell a couple of battle passes on the side for people that are not able to either afford or get in time one of the ships. So if you want a battle pass, you can still play the game, gain experience, get all the airdrops, get all the things necessary that you'll need for later in the game, but you can start playing now without necessarily having a ship, so that it's open for more people. And at the moment, we're not sure on the structure of how we'll release the battle passes, but that will be out on the roadmap and when the website's out and everything. And the price of the NFTs themselves, the ships, including the battle pass, at the moment is 350 ADA. And this is for the 3,000 for the 3 different drops from here until February. That's the price that we've set. And we've talked a lot about the price. I was on with S20 Bullion on Twitter yesterday, I believe, actually. And we talked a lot about it. And it was super interesting how he hit the nail on the head when he said, I'm sure that price was thought out a lot, because a lot of you don't know where things are going in the future when it comes to ADA, if it goes down, if it goes up, if we sell completely, if we don't. But this number actually came from us all thinking about, okay, what's plan A to E, and how do we get a price that whatever happens, whether ADA goes up or down, we get any one of these plans so that we for sure have a game, whatever it takes. You know, that was a whole lot of, because we've been working 4 or 5 months already on the whole development of this whole idea. So it's been a lot of planning, which again, a lot of projects don't do and need to do to be able to survive long term. And this is what we're trying to do.
Yeah, I suppose a lot of projects we get, this is our plan, buy our NFT, and then we'll go and try and build it after if we get enough. So it's good to hear this work already done on it. And just on the NFTs, the 3,000, the 3 different drops, will they all be the same NFTs? Is there rarities or variations? Or
good question? Yeah, so of course there's rarities, and we have 3 different models. So the ship itself has its different parts, which are the rarities, and the modules of the ship. So the cockpit, the body, the wings, the thrusters, all these parts are different sections of the ship that we're implementing in layers, right? And each one of these
seaplanes in there.
No,
They were famous for
I mean, if you
seaplanes
think
for a
about
while.
it, they could have a kind of shape. If you check it out, you should check it out later on the Discord, the shape, because we also did a very specific shape for the ship, which shout out to our designer, Andy. He did an amazing job. We were trying to find something that was both not too classic, but still modular in a sense where it doesn't matter if you're in space or on a land or in a planet, the shape of the ship changes slightly for different ambience. But that aside, the pieces themselves,
Sorry,
or the parts of the ship. No, it's perfect. I love these ramifications. But the parts of the ships themselves have we have 3 different models. So if you got the ship fully, there's 3 different models of how they look by 3 different manufacturers from the future. I have to talk a little bit about the story after this. And each one has 5 different materials. So these are all going to be, there's 9 ships in total that are going to be the rarest because they are the full model and full material type. And there's one specific material that is the rarest of them all. And at the moment, we're trying to figure out, I don't want to say anything yet, although it comes out in a week, so the answer will be there. So I don't want to lie and say something else. But we're trying to find a way to make it interesting for people, what kind of models and what kind of rarities of ship come out on each one of the 3 drops, because it's all going to be the same ships with different rarities and different models, but we're trying to pepper it with each one has its own little special thing, you know. And now that I'm at it, I want to talk a little bit about the story, because the story is going to be central when it comes to community creation. We've built a world 11,000 years in the future, or 9,000 years in the future, after the humanity has left Earth and have spread throughout the galaxy and have evolved in different ways through different governments. And you have to check out, because we've implemented Midjourney into our Discord for a Mintathon, where people, I mentioned before, have created what their evolutions might look like of different races of humanity, or different governments or tribes or whatever. And they've been creating amazing things, and we're planning more Mintathons, because the stuff that the community has been creating, both story and imagery wise, which is stuff that is inspiring us for the whole game in the future, is beyond belief. You have to check it out. Shout out to JP and Nalgi and everyone that's been making things on Midjourney and our Discord, because it's amazing. Sorry,
perfect. No, anything else before we close out that we've kind of forgot to go through or missed that could be good?
I think we mentioned most of the things. And yeah, as Ignacio also said, the website will be live, which will be a central hub for information. The Discord right now is our hub where we have everything put on that's currently live and very interesting. And there's a lot of stuff coming up in the next 2 weeks up until our mint. But I think we mentioned everything so far here. And then if you see this video and you are interested, check out our channels, check out the website, and see if this is something for you.
Perfect. Well, thanks very much for your time. Give me a good insight into it. I enjoyed the call. We had a few laughs as well. So hopefully anyone who finds it interesting, I will leave all them links down below on for Twitter, Discord, and the website as well, if you get it out in time. No pressure. But thanks, guys. I do appreciate it. And we can catch up sometime in the new year then to see where things are going then.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Thanks, Paul.
Thanks for having us.
All right, thanks, guys. Share this out if you think others can benefit from it. Subscribe if you're new. Comment questions or anything down below. You can go to the Discord or comment questions, and I can send them on to the team as well, or ask them to take a look as well. Thanks for watching, guys.